Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Now, sorry about the glare at the top, but you'll have to get over it. What we have behind us is a 2006 Opel Corsa. This is the diesel engine, the 1.3. This is a Z13 TD engine, and it's a crank no start. Now, this is going to be a video for techs, and what this is behind me, I've already diagnosed this, and it didn't take me long at all. Wasn't going to film it, but then I thought, well, I will film it to show you, if you're working in a busy place, kind of just do some quick dirty tests first, diagnose the car, get it out, work on the next one. If you're mobile, you don't want to be spending too long on it, just get it done, get it diagnosed, move on to the next one. That's how you can make more money, blah, 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 all the rest of it. So we have a crank no start. I'm going to go through the procedures I did to find this problem. This is another garage's car, so I'm not going to be fixing it, and I'm just going to be diagnosing it. So what I'm going to do is bring you over to the computer, and I'll just quickly go through what I did. Right, so the first thing I did is check out the codes, and that's the first thing you want to do, obviously. Right, and as you can see, we've got a camshaft position sensor. Okay, so what I decided to do after that is go onto my live data. So what I've done, gone to my live data, and what I always like to do is get battery voltage. That is so important. The battery's a bit dodgy on this, but it's always good to know what your battery is like, and I always put my battery voltage on. Then, because it's a diesel, I wanted fuel rail pressure, and what I wanted was, where is it, idle. Idle speed desired. Well, actually, we don't need idle, just need engine speed. Right, and then we go to view. Right, and all I wanted to do from this is just quickly. Oh, why haven't we got our engine speed? All I wanted to do is quickly just see if everything was okay. We've got 12 volts in a battery, which isn't fully charged, but it's going to be good enough for this test. I turn it over. Right, we're only getting 200 revs per minute, which obviously isn't enough, and we're only getting 58 psi. We need at least 300 bar to start this, well, between 250 to 300. So very, very quickly I can see we've got a problem in two places. But then I thought, well, they could be connected. And the reason I thought they could be connected was because we have our camshaft here. Our high pressure pump runs off this, and so does our crankshaft sensor. So let me turn this engine over for you, and just so you can hear, because it doesn't sound right. That was another key. As you can see, that just doesn't sound right at all. Then what I did, I was just about to go and test the connection. I seen this connection was all broken, busted and everything. So what I decided to do was not even bother check it. Because it's so easy, I'm just going to take it off. Take it off, and then what I did, because I'm on my own, get a screwdriver, mark the camshaft, so I can physically see the mark, turn the key, and see if that moves. It did not move, people. So then I looked in there a bit more, and guess what I found? Let's try and get you in there if I can. Can you see that? Boom. There we go, people. The camshaft is broken in half. Now, why is it broken in half? Do we have a problem with the chain? Did it just break? Well, there could be loads of reasons, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of damage done in there. This engine isn't going to be repairable for this garage. There we go. Done. Simple. Done. Crankshaft broke. Now, to go further into it, obviously there's going to be valves bent. The timing chain could be snapped, so we could have other issues, but I can tell you now with this engine and this car, it's going to be cheaper to replace the engine. No point messing around, second-hand engine. If they're going to do it, bang it in, job done. But what I'm trying to get at is, when you're working in a garage, you work on your own, you want to, especially a busy garage, you want to get things done. You want to you know, even for yourself, get the next car in, you can make more money, you know, because all these machines aren't cheap, so you need to get as many cars in and do them quickly. With this, I didn't need anything. Yes, I could have pulled up wiring diagrams, I could have done all that, but there is still a lot to be said for doing simple, common sense tests. From the live data, I could see there was a problem. I could see the pump wasn't producing enough diesel, which would make it not start. Then we had a cam sensor problem. They both run off that camshaft. There we go. I mean, when you see that, you see the car, things click, and you go to the obvious things. There's no point pulling up, you know, going online and pulling up all these wiring diagrams. It's just going to take time. Certain cases you do, but if you can do it, a bit of common sense, bang, straight in. What I am going to do, just to get some nice squiggly, wavy lines, is I'm going to do, because this is a diesel, I'm going to do a relative compression test, just for shits and giggles. We know it's not going to come back right. But again, on a diesel, with a scope, very easy, relative compression test, and you can kind of see it, because that would have been my next stage. If I didn't notice anything there, because the engine isn't ticking over properly, my next stage would have been a relative compression test and kind of go from there. So I'm going to do that just for, like I said, for shits and giggles. But you see how you can do things very, very quickly and easily if you just have a bit of common sense. Move on to the next car. Let's get some sexy waveforms going. Right, so here we go. I've got it on channel 1. We've got a 2-volt scale, 2 seconds. Our amp clamp is at 60 amps, which is 10 volts per division. We'll put that over the battery lead and we'll crank this and see what happens. Right, so there we go, it's done. Right, now this is where you have to be careful, because if you look at that, that kind of looks not too bad. You know, you quickly look at that, you see all the, they're all at the kind of the same height, and you might think, oh, okay, that's good. But when you look at the voltage, you can just see, and you're used to seeing these, you can just tell that that just isn't good enough. This is where you do have to be careful with a relative compression test, because it's only relative to the other cylinders. So just be careful of that. But once you start zooming in, you can just see there's just nothing there. There's no real hump there. There's no definition. There's no nothing. So we can tell, and we know that from the sensor anyway, and from our cam being broke. But it's just another tool in your arsenal, especially if if everything checked out fine, you wanted to quickly check the compression. If we saw a massive dip, what we could end up doing is getting, say, injector number 1. Put injector number 1 on channel 2, we can see where injector number 1 falls, and then we can work out the firing order from there, and we can see which cylinder is dead. Again, very, very quickly, especially on a diesel, because you don't have to be taking any heater plugs out, injectors or anything like that. Bang, your daughter. But just be careful of relative compression test. It is good, but it does have its limitations. Quickly look at that waveform, you might think, oh, everything's okay. Once you're used to seeing relative compression waveforms, you can kind of tell very quickly from the volts and stuff that that's just not enough. So just be aware of that. If I had a dip in it, then what I would do is I would get the injector and I'd spike, say, another channel 2 off injector number 1, so we can actually see the firing order of it, and then we can see which cylinder is dead. But we know all these cylinders are dead. So just be aware of that. Sometimes a relative compression test can kind of screw you up if you don't know what you're looking for. So that was it. What this video was really about is just to say, look, with a lot of cars, or not with some of them, you can kind of do some very quick, easy things. From the live data, I could tell we had a problem with the pump, and our RPMs wasn't enough very, very quickly, and it basically shares the same cam on here. So very, very easy. We could tell, took that off, because again, it was at the top of the engine, it was easy, and we could see the split in the camshaft. So there we go, there we just done. God knows how fast they were going when they were driving this, but this engine's chewed to bits. So I don't know if he's going to fix it. If he is, he's going to be putting a second-hand engine in rather than fixing that, because it's going to be cheaper. So that was it, just to kind of say, not all the times you have to get all the expensive stuff out, wiring dangles and that. You can do, a lot of it with common sense, look at live data, and go from there. Sorted. So look, hope it helps. Please like, share, subscribe, all the usual. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.